Well, welcome everyone. Good morning and welcome to Stay Work Play's 2022 Policy Priorities Press Conference. If we haven't met, my name is Will Stewart and I'm the Executive Director of Stay Work Play, which is a statewide nonprofit whose mission is to attract and retain more young people here in the Granite State. And while Stay Work Play has traditionally been known as an organization that really markets and brands New Hampshire as a place of opportunity for young people, we realized a few years ago that if we really wanted to move the needle when it comes to the attraction and retention of young people here in the state, that we needed to be weighing in via nonpartisan issues-based advocacy on those public policy issues that affect whether young people might stay in or leave the Granite State. To help us determine what those issues might be, Stay Work Play commissioned a survey of young people in New Hampshire. We've also hosted 2 statewide tours in recent years to talk to young people about across the Granite State, asking them what they love most about the state and their region, as well as what might lead them to leave one day. And from these outreach efforts, Stay Work Play identified 4 policy priority areas: housing affordability, outdoor recreation, child care, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And through these policy priority lenses, Stay Work Play's advocacy committee, a volunteer group of a couple of dozen people from across the state, a few of whom are here with us today, have helped us to identify 18 bills on which the organization has taken a position this legislative session. Before we get into specifics, however, we're going to hear from one under 40 state legislator who is fighting to make New Hampshire even more attractive to young people. And with that, I am honored to introduce State Senator Rebecca Perkins Kwoka of Portsmouth, who is currently in her first term in the state Senate and serves on the Election Law and Municipal Affairs Committee, as well as the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. Welcome, Senator Perkins Kwoka.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to be here with you guys this morning, and just really thrilled to have Stay Work Play be a growing and important voice in our state. I know I've been involved in a number of positions here in New Hampshire, and as I've sort of gone through various stages, I know Stay Work Play has too, and so I'm thrilled to see them entering the advocacy space. And honored to be here talking about it today. I think that especially as a young legislator, but in general as elected officials, we often hear from young folks about the challenges they face trying to stay in New Hampshire. I was born in Stratham and I grew up here. I was gone for about 10 years, but came back about 10 years ago now. And, I see these challenges every day. Low vacancy rates and rising rent, are forcing people to find new homes, whether that be in new communities or across state lines, that can wreak havoc on their social community or their commute or their daycare. And just finding daycare at all, means people are making the balance between working and taking care of their families and trying to do it all, as I know many of us are doing today with the snowstorm. And so all of these decisions also hit moms the hardest. Things are getting more and more equitable. We know that women are having a hard time coming back to the workforce, especially after the pandemic. And so all of these things are just existing and growing challenges that we need to confront. So Stay Work Play identifying these as priorities, having affordability, equitable childcare, outdoor recreation, and diversity inclusion. These are the things we hear about every day as policymakers. So I think as priorities, it's no surprise, but I'm thrilled to have you guys as an ally working in these spaces. I myself have been working on housing for over a decade now, almost a dozen years. And that comes from having grown up here and recognizing that, we kept talking about housing affordability and we kept talking about how the state was aging, but we need to do something about that. And so I've served on the board of the Workforce Housing Coalition. I've served as a housing commissioner at the Portsmouth Housing Authority. And then I ran for city council in Portsmouth, where I ran on a platform of zoning changes to create more housing supply, and did that in my first 2 years on council, despite many people saying, oh, I've been working on this for 35 years, and nothing's gotten done. So we can make a difference as young people, and we should make a difference as young people. In fact, we are the ones that have the energy, we have the enthusiasm, we have the new ideas, and we need to bring that to the process. So, having a partner like Stay Work Play to provide resources and guidance and just help with those little hurdles that keep us all from doing the things we want to do is awesome. And I'm so glad to see them doing that. So, I think that making sure that we're working towards all these goals is even more important in creating the New Hampshire we all want to see eventually, thinking that there's someone else out there that will do this. It's a myth. And I think we need to recognize that if we want to see that in New Hampshire, we need to make it happen, and I think sitting in the legislature and we were on the Senate floor for 5 or 6 hours yesterday, there are people who want policies that are different than these. And so to make them happen, we need to share our experience. We need to bring our lived experience and our personal testimonials to these policymakers and help them understand what our life is like, help them see that as a nursing mom, I have to take a break every 3 hours because there's things I need to do, I help them understand that when daycare is closed today, I can't have all the calls that I wanted to have, or, I can't get to that document, but I'm still a contributing member of the state. I'm still here. I'm still important, and all of us are, and so making sure that we make those issues known and aware while doing the best we can to be a part of this is just a way that we're educating the generations that came before us on what it's like to be here now. So I'm inspired by it. I think it's awesome to be working with other people my age, older and younger. And I draw my inspiration from knowing that we're a little mini army, and we'll keep marching in the right direction. So I hope you guys do too, and continue your great work, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. And I know there's sort of a record number of young legislators up in the State House right now, and so they are your friends, they're your allies, and we're always thrilled to hear from you. So please don't consider us to be in some other place, far away. Just pick up the phone, call us or text us, send us an email, and we'll get your stories to the forefront, because that's what we need to do, and that's what we like to do. So I'll leave it at that. It's awesome to be here with you, and congrats to Stay Work Play on taking this new journey.
Well, thank you, Senator. Very much appreciated. And thank you for your leadership. And like you said, being that example and sharing those stories of, being a young mother and, the challenges, that come with that, both in public service and the workforce and in life here in New Hampshire. So you're right, we are a small but mighty army, and we thank you for helping to lead that army, particularly in the New Hampshire Senate. So thank you very much, for joining us today and sharing your thoughts and perspectives. It's very much appreciated. Yeah. And for your representing too, not just your constituents on the Seacoast, but young people all across New Hampshire.
Yep, I'm honored to do it. So thanks for having me.
Of course. And also wanted to let folks know we did have we heard from a couple of those under 40 state representatives as well, who regret they couldn't join us today, but wanted to share their thoughts. So they sent me some quotes they would like us to share with everyone. The first is from Representative Brody Deshays of Wolfboro, who says, quote, "Stay Work Play has helped involve many young Granite Staters in New Hampshire's legislative process. Policymakers must consider the concerns of younger voters and chart a course for the future. Sometimes legislators get caught in the now and forget that we also need to work towards tomorrow. Stay Work Play has helped us plan for the future and continue improving the Granite State." Also heard from Representative Joe Alexander of Goffstown, who says, quote, "Given the effect of public policy on the attraction and retention of young Granite Staters, having Stay Work Play's voice in Concord is important. I'm especially looking forward to continuing to work with the organization and its advocates to advance the cause of workforce housing development here in New Hampshire." So a big thanks also to Representative Deshays and Alexander for all they do in Concord as well on behalf of young Granite Staters. And with that, I'd like to now take just a few minutes to talk a little bit about what Stay Work Play is focusing on this legislative session. And I will say that specific pieces of legislation that we are taking a position on can be found in our 2022 Policy Priorities portfolio, a link to which will be shared just momentarily in the comments below. So as Senator Perkins Kwoka noted and kind of led with, I think, in some of her remarks about issues facing young people, housing affordability is Stay Work Play's biggest focus area again this year, as it has been in recent years. And this year, we're taking a position as a whole on 18 bills, and a full half of them, 9, are aimed at making New Hampshire a more affordable place to live. And as she mentioned, the challenge that we're at right now is we're faced with historically low vacancy rates, high rents, and limited starter home inventory at historically high prices. And so many young people just simply cannot afford to live here. They'd like to, but they just can't afford it. And as such, Stay Work Play supports measures to increase both the types and affordability of housing suitable for young people and young families. I will say that while the majority of the bills that we support in the housing affordability realm are aiming to make housing more affordable, we're also opposing 3 bills that seek to eliminate or weaken the Housing Appeals Board, which is something that Stay Work Play supported its creation just a few years ago. But there are 3 bills that are looking to weaken or eliminate that body. But the other bills that we're supporting, I should say, are looking to make it easier for builders to achieve greater density and get approvals for rental developments, starter homes on smaller lots, and other housing options that are more affordable to young people. I'll also call out that we're also in support of Senate Bill 400, which is co-sponsored by Representative Alexander in the House, which is based on recommendations from the governor's housing force. I believe Senator Perkins Kwoka might be, she was a driving force in that creation even before she got in the Senate as well. We're also supportive of Senate Bill 329, sponsored by Senator Perkins Kwoka, to study barriers to housing development in New Hampshire. And finally, a bill that we're also opposed to in the housing realm is Senate Bill 210, which would effectively kill the ability of residents of a manufactured housing park to purchase the park under the 60-day notice clause. And happy to have Exato here from the New Hampshire Community Loan Fund running point on that bill. Also, another one of our policy priority areas this year is outdoor recreation. And we know here at Stay Work Play, both through data and anecdotal evidence, that the state's natural environment and our many outdoor recreational amenities are a huge draw for young people. And as such, Stay Work Play supports measures to protect these irreplaceable natural and recreational amenities and the economic benefits they make possible. In that vein, this year we're supporting House Bill 1579, which provides for landowner liability involving the use of their private land for outdoor recreational activities. And we're also supportive of 2 House bills that seek to promote the positive usage of off-highway recreational vehicles, also known as OHRVs, which is a growing segment of the state's outdoor recreation economy. Another policy priority area this year that Senator Perkins Kwoka noted is childcare. I think we're hearing more and more about that these days, as a lack of available childcare slots and childcare employees lead to longer childcare wait times and higher costs. And this contributes to young people delaying starting families and reduces the number of young people in the workforce, especially mothers, as Senator Perkins Kwoka noted. So, as such, Stay Work Play supports measures to increase both the availability and affordability of childcare. This year, we're supportive of 2 bills, both co-sponsored, again, by Senator Perkins Kwoka, looking to establish childcare funds. One, to provide grants to eligible childcare programs for childcare workforce recruitment and retention bonuses, and the other to provide construction or startup financing for new childcare businesses, and either full or supplementary funds for childcare tuition costs to an accredited childcare facility on behalf of New Hampshire children. Stay Work Play is also supporting 2 childcare-related study committees. House Bill 1384 would study the need for childcare and ways to supplement and fund it in New Hampshire, while House Bill 1370 establishes a committee to study childcare options for New Hampshire state legislators. And finally, this year, our last policy priority area for 2022 is diversity, equity, and inclusion. In this category, Stay Work Play supports 2 bills aimed at making the state a more welcoming and inclusive place for everyone. And these 2 bills, House Bill 1294 and House Bill 1414, both aim to collect and analyze more racial and ethnic data, first by the state's Commission on Demographic Trends, and then by the state police. And this is important because if we want to attract and retain more people from BIPOC communities, it's really helpful and indeed necessary to have adequate data that can be analyzed, by policymakers and to otherwise assist with these efforts. So that short and sweet is what Stay Work Play is focusing on, this year at the State House. And I know we have I see a member or two of the media here. If anyone does have any questions, would be happy to answer those at this time. I would say too that if not, we will be, as was mentioned, recording. We are recording this presentation, and we'll be sharing both the recording and the policy priority portfolio document, which was put together by an offshoot of our advocacy network, with members of the state's media later today. All right. Well, I will say then, with that, I would like to thank you all for joining us this morning. Again, a big thank you to Senator Rebecca Perkins Kwoka for joining us in person, and to Representatives Deshays and Alexander, for sharing their thoughts as well. The link to this recording will soon be placed on the Stay Work Play YouTube page. You can look for it there for anyone who wasn't able to join us in real time, or anyone you think might have an interest in seeing this or learning more about Stay Work Play's legislative efforts. And I will say that if anyone has any further questions later today or in the future about Stay Work Play's nonpartisan issues-based advocacy in general, or these particular pieces of legislation specifically, feel free to reach out to me anytime at will@stayworkplay.org. And with that, thank you all for joining us today, and have a great day. See you around the State House.